Hi everyone, welcome back to the workshop. Today I'm going to be doing a repair on the hat of Credibility. I'm sure you've spotted me, if you're a regular viewer of my channel, I'm sure you've spotted me wearing this. It's one of my favourite hats. I've had it about probably 15 years and I don't want it to fall apart yet. I've got a patch on the side here, and the patch, I glued it on originally, but the glue hasn't stuck too well. So what I'm going to do now is stitch around the outside of it there. The easy way to sew leather is with one of these things. It's called a Speedy Stitcher. They make them in the United States. I didn't have to go there to get this one. They were nice enough to send it to me. I originally found it online. You can get different size threads and different size needles for it. You can see here I've got a spare needle there. It's a fairly big one, but I like using this one. I forget what size it is. I can tell you. It's about 2 millimeters. It could have another imperial size, but it's a fraction under 2 mil. The way these work, you have this, it's like waxed cotton thread. It's pretty important that you use this thread. You get a much better finish or an outcome than you do if you use something else you've come up with. Inside the back here, you hide your little spool and you wind, it's a bobbin I suppose, wind your thread onto that. This one's just about run out, but it's still enough to do this job. There's a little dent down in the bottom there where this little knob sits, so we'll put that down in there, and the cotton comes out through a hole in the side here, and that little thing holds it all in place. From there you just go once around this little looks a bit like a thumbtack, but that helps you get the tension on your thread, and then you can thread it through this slot. It'll come out the hole there, like that. Now you'll notice you might have to look at it fairly closely. Good girl. There's a slot in the needle as well. You can see this side's got a slot in it, and that side is plain. That's an important difference. If you put the needle in backwards, it won't work. Also on here, you'll see a gap in the thread and a slot there. So you just line up the slot in the needle with the slot in the thread, that way around, like that. You can see there, they're both lined up now. And then we put the thread through this it's a clamp that holds the needle in there. So you put the thread through the middle of that, then put the clamp over the top and the thread in the slot. Then when you do it up, if you get it right so you can see the threads in the groove there, do that up so the needle can't move, and you can still pull out your thread that way. And the tricky part is you get that thread through the eye of the needle there. It's multi-stranded, so you just got to get all the strands piled up together, like that. So you pull that through there. Now what you do is we'll poke the needle through where we want to start from, and then pull through enough thread so that we can go right around the distance that we need to go. It'll all make sense in a minute. I might start off at the bottom here. I've got several thicknesses of leather to get through. You can see the hole there that we're trying to patch. So if this is too hard to push through in one go, I'll find my, I think it's called a stitching iron, that you just tap with a hammer and it'll poke, pre-drill a hole through there. Anyway, let's see if I can start off about here. Try not to stab my fingers. Up, straight through. See the needle comes out the other side like that, As you pull it back a bit, it should, maybe around the other side, if I get it right, it makes a little loop like that. So just get hold of that loop, and on the first stitch we want to pull that through. It's a bit hard because we've got all that three layers of leather to get through. Here we go. Which one am I pulling on here? Should be this one. Oh, it's come up on the wrong side there. I want this one. There we go, because that's the side with the slot in it. So with that pulled through there like that, I can now take my needle back out. We're going to go up the front here to start with. I'll pick my first stitch, make it about there. I can get you in the frame, and we'll do it again. Poke it through, pull it back a bit, but this time we get the loose end of the thread and poke it through that piece that came out, like that. Now I can pull my needle back through. I get my thumb on the thread here, that way I can hold the tension on it. That didn't work. What have I done there? I've doubled up on it somehow. Pull that out and start again. I see what I've done. I've got the needle around the wrong way somehow, or I've threaded the needle through in the wrong direction. Should have went through from the same side as the slot, not the opposite side. Sometimes the wax can block up the hole, the wax from the thread. Here we go, so we got it through the hole there. And we'll stick it back through the hole, like that. And we'll just pull that through. So we've got a fair bit of thread on the inside there. And we'll bring the needle back out and stick it into the next hole that I made before. Like that. When you pull it back, you get another loop like there. And you put the thread through the hole. And with your thumb on the tension thingy here, you pull it back out, and there we have one stitch like that. I won't pull it through too far. Then we'll go the same distance again, about there. Stick it through without stabbing your finger. Pull it back a little bit and put your thread through the loop. Thumb on the tension. And just pull it tight. Let's get a bit more thread out this side. There's 2 stitches. We'll come along here one more. Poke it through without stabbing yourself. Pull it back. Pop your thread through there. And you hang on to this one with your hand inside and then pull back on this like that. That's it. So there's 3 stitches. Look, I've been a bit generous with the 3rd one there. Basically, I'll just go around the top here and I'll bring you back along the way. But that's the pattern, not much more complicated than that. We'll just cut that off about there. Now I can take my needle back out again. And that leaves me 2 threads inside, but one either side of a stitch. We can just tie a knot in that. Like that. That just leaves me to stitch along the bottom there. I'll see if I can stitch that down into the hat band because it's fairly well broken up along there. The hat band is still fixed on, so I can't take it right off. Anyway, that gives you a bit of an idea of how you can stitch with one of these Speedy stitchers. And I'll finish that off later. Let's just give it a test. Here we go. Can't really. If I look at it that way, we can see it. Not used to these selfie stick things. That looks pretty credible. If I turned up at a Barbie with this hat on, people would believe everything I said. So, I'd like to thank you for watching, guys. Any questions, just put it in the comments and we'll see you on the next one. Can't really see you. Here's an example of one of my stitching jobs. This is off a knife I made a while back. You see I've stitched it along here. They never come out quite as neat on the back, but very effective. That's going through 3 layers of leather there. So I did punch those with my stitching iron first. That's the knife I knocked up from scratch without cutting myself. It's always important. I also broke a buckle on my belt a couple of weeks ago, and believe it or not, I had a spare buckle in stock, and that's my stitching work along here and along there. I just cut the old buckle out and stitched a new one in. So there's that looks, you know, quite a bit smaller stitches, so you can do a nice job. I just put them back down the existing holes. A little swan's growing up. He's the one in the middle. Could be a girl, I suppose.